run that jumbo package with Big Dex and Christian in the I formation, and then also the one that you ran for Garrett Williams on a special day.
You know, that was pretty cool. You know, and I try not to get caught up in the moment, you know, much, because I got to stay focused on what I'm doing. But, you know, going into it, we knew that Garrett was a legacy guy down there, and so we wanted to make sure that we found a way to try to get him in the end zone, and then to do it on a play very similar to how his dad scored. That was pretty special. And then Christian and Dex, we know what they mean to our program, and just the type of young men that they are, and to come in on a Tuesday and say, hey, we got a thought, we're going to put you back there, let's see what you do. And they took ownership. You know, it's not easy to take a 300-pounder, teach him how to take a handoff, teach him aiming points and his track, and he looked very natural back there. And then also to get T.J. Chase a touchdown down in his home state. And so our guys, they really accepted the challenge, and that's what makes it fun. When they accept the challenge to give us an opportunity to do that, that's what makes it fun.
Does this speak to how well the offense is playing right now, that you're able to do things like that where you can go into a game and say, hey, we're going to try to get Garrett a touchdown and try to get TJ a touchdown?
You know, I think every week when you start, you know, you have great ambition, and then obviously the course of the game is going to dictate it. And we knew that in order to be able to do some of that stuff, obviously we got to be really, really fundamentally sound. We got to protect the ball, we got to protect the quarterback, and create those situations for it to happen. And it looks like, just from a communication standpoint and a confidence standpoint, things are starting to click for us on offense. We still got areas to improve, and that's the beautiful thing about it. You come off of a performance where on the outside everything looks great, but there's still a lot of things that we can challenge our guys, and knowing that we're going into the championship phase of the season, starting here in a couple days in November. So it's a lot of fun to have success, but then also it's assuring to a coach to know that you got a lot to coach off of too.
Tony, it seems like maybe more so than other programs, you guys really make it a priority to have fun, enjoy the grind, and even things like personal touches, like you just mentioned, guys in their home state. Could you just kind of address that a little bit and talk about that approach of making it kind of special?
You know, it starts with Coach Sweeney and the vision that he has for the program, and one of the bullet points is to make sure that these guys have a great experience. And so first it starts with Coach Sweeney creating an environment where the coaches, you know, enjoy coming to work every single day, and we can show them what it looks like to be a father, to be a husband, and that just gives us the drive and the passion to take advantage of every single day. And then you see how hard these young men work every single day, how they conduct themselves off the field, and then you have an opportunity like a Maverick Morris to see him transition from a player to now a coach. So it just makes it, you know, you really have that family environment. And I think that every one of us that are here, you know, we want to do special things for our children and our family members. And so when you have that connection with the guys, it just resonates, and they take pride in it. And they know that if they come to work every single day, they're going to have an opportunity to play. And then in key situations, when the opportunity presents itself, they're going to be rewarded, like this past week.
Was that kind of talked about early in the week at all? Like, okay, this guy's from here. I mean, is that putting maybe too much into it, or no? Okay, this guy's from Florida. This guy's maybe Christian, obviously being from Massachusetts. What are you doing there?
You know, the Christian and Dexter, we have that plan every single week. You know, we try to have fun with that, and obviously not just have fun, but it gives us an advantage when you got 700 pounds back there, and nobody wants to come tackle those guys. So that's more week to week. We just try to find ways to expand their package and have fun with that. But Garrett, you know, that was a situation, what Garrett's meant to this program, how he came back from his injury, just how dedicated and selfless he is. You know, that was a conversation that we said, you know what, we want to try to, if we can, you know, find a way to get him in the end zone. And we had an opportunity before that too. We tried a little quick sprint out to him, and they had a good defense call, so we weren't able to get it there. So we had a couple ways that we wanted to try and make sure. And then TJ's just kind of worked out in his situation late in the game. He did a good job on his route. Chase did a great job of extending the play, and they connected. But Garrett was a conversation that we said we want to try and help this young man out.
Tony, freshmen shouldn't always play this well, but what's making Trevor excel in this offense week after week?
You know, I think we're becoming more comfortable as a staff with where he is, what he's comfortable with. He's communicating with us to let us know the things that he likes, the things he doesn't like. He's getting a ton of reps, so he's getting all the reps. He's getting the game reps, and so he's just becoming more and more comfortable. And we all know, and I say this all the time, how talented he is. But I think now he's just becoming more confident, more comfortable, and you're seeing his talent just come to the surface.
Is it surprising to you at all that he's taken to it this quickly, or could you see, I don't know, back in January and spring ball that
I think you could see it a lot like with Deshaun and how he handled his recruiting process. You see the maturity of the young man. You see the family support that he has. He's unbelievably humble, unbelievably grounded. His confidence is in his work, which was a lot like Deshaun. So you knew that he had all the makings. It was just a matter of time for that light to come on and for him to get his opportunity. And now he's just taking advantage of it, making the most of it. And he doesn't get fazed by the stage. He doesn't get fazed by the hype. He just focused on being the best version of himself, and that's why he's successful.
What's it like coaching a guy, a freshman that comes in with that level of sort of maturity, understanding of the game, sort of professionalism in the way that he approaches things? Is it I guess an easier job of communicating and coaching a guy like that up?
I think it depends on the individual. I think that Trevor comes from a great high school program, and Coach King and those guys that do an unbelievable job with him. And so he had that preparation, coming in the door. And then now that he's in the position that he's in, he's becoming more comfortable. That communication is taking place a lot with him and Coach Streeter. And then now he's becoming more comfortable talking with me as well. And I try not to get in his ear. Obviously, I let Coach Streeter do most of the talking, and just like I told Deshaun, you talk to me through Coach Streeter, because obviously that's a critical position, and you need to have as minimal voices in his ear. But now he's getting to be more comfortable just coming up to me in the course of practice, especially on some protection things, because we're giving him some more ownership there, a lot like we did Deshaun, to change some of the protections and get us slid the right way. So it's fun. But then you look at like a Sammy Watkins. Sammy Watkins was very similar, but he didn't talk. Sammy wasn't going to say anything. He just went out and he just played. And then Deshaun was a little bit different. It took Deshaun a little while to become more comfortable. So I think when you're asking that question about the freshmen, it just depends on their personality type and where they are.
Coach, ordinarily when you lose your starting center going into a place like Bill Campbell, be a pretty big concern. But with what Gage has shown you in his playing time this year and what he's shown you in practice, no concern at all with him?
No question, and shout out to Gage. I mean, he did an unbelievable job, and that's just a testament to the philosophy that we have of playing those guys. We get questions every week about how many guys have played, what about the rotation on the offensive line, do you worry about that? But in times like this, it pays off. You get those guys experience. So he's played at center, he's played at guard, and then also he saw how Chase stepped up and when his number was called. So we just tell the guys that you got to be ready, because they're really one snap away from either in the game or on the practice field from being in a starting role. And one of the things that I told him, I said, look, now you're driving a Maserati, now you can't crash it. Now this isn't a big block Chevy. Now this thing is fragile, so make sure that you understand what you're doing. And he just kind of laughed it off. But I could see that when he knew that he was going to be the guy, his demeanor changed. And it's always something different about being the starter. But really proud of him. And I think that his guys up front rallied around him, and he was able to go out and you talk about going into that environment. We knew we were playing one of the top rush defenses in the country. I mean, they got some prolific pass rushers coming off the edge, and to come out where we only had 2 negative plays. We did have a couple of false starts, and that wasn't on Gage. That was just guys trying to get a jump on number 99. 99 is a great player, fastest we'll see, probably, in a generation coming off that edge. I mean, we haven't seen one faster than him off that edge, but no sacks, only 2 negative plays. The guys really rallied around him and stepped up to the challenge.
Dabo mentioned last night that he would like to see Travis be a little more disciplined.
Yeah.
And what areas can he still improve when he does have the ball?
Biggest thing with Travis is just, quit trying to be Superman. I tell him all the time, sometimes you go from being a hero to a zero. Don't be a hero, just do your job. And if you watch early in the game, everyone's going to want to point out the offensive line. We didn't get it going, but the first 2 runs, Travis missed it. He didn't want to be patient. And again, that's his running style. I mean, he's so confident that he can break tackles. He's so confident in his physicality and his speed that a lot of times he doesn't want to wait on the offensive line. And I think we had the best block play we had. We're down in the red zone, and he outruns the tackle. If he just slows down and lets the tackle get out in front of him, we had a wall built he's going to walk in. So the biggest thing is just getting him to understand the different schemes, who your lead blockers are, and then just trusting the process and being patient. That's where he's got to grow. And I think, and you saw it, like you watch up at Wake Forest, he's a little giddy early, but then, he started to slow down, trust it, and then bang, he hits a big play, and we tell him that it's my job to get you to the line of scrimmage, my job to get you to that second level, and then it's your job to take it the distance. And so we just got to continue to work every single day. And he's got a great attitude about it, but he's still a young guy, and you come off of a game where you didn't quite have the production that you wanted, then sometimes you start pressing. And I think he pressed on his first 2 runs, and then obviously we got to get the game, established. We kind of got to get control of the game, and we found some holes in the passing game, and then we tried to come back, and then he hits one for 15, he hits one for 10 because he's being a little bit more patient.
And you touched on it, how receptive is he to that kind of coaching?
Oh, he loves it. You know, he loves it. He's each one of them I got to coach different. You know, I can't coach Taven the same way I coach Travis, and I don't coach Adam the same way I coach Taven. But he's a guy that likes for you to get on him, and he wants to be coached because he knows that he's talented. He's not conceited in that, and he knows he can run. He knows he's physical, but he also knows that he doesn't understand, you know, all of the schemes yet, and so he needs me to coach him hard. But I thought he made progress in pass protection. You know, you watch him. There was a couple of times where he stepped up and he's fitting the linebacker and he's fighting all the way through the whistle. So I thought he made some progress there, but I thought his first couple of runs, he was just a little bit too juiced up and didn't wait on his blocking.
I noticed that with Tavian, he's starting to get a lot of those dirty yards for you. He's the guy you guys like to kind of go in there and just get it down to the two. He may not be finishing the drive, but he's getting you there.
Yeah, probably his best run. And they actually should have had a stop. They had the box overloaded. They looked like they went to a bare front, and they had about 8 guys down there, and he made a cut in the backfield. And that's, you know, the things that I'm going to point out when we watch the film today and say, man, this is what I've always seen you being capable of. You just got to commit to it every single day. And he was determined, and so he ran through several blocks, got it down to the 2-yard line, and would have loved to. But then that was a situation too where we said, you know what, he's been in the end zone a couple of times. Let's get Garrett an opportunity.
You guys have Louisville's had not having a season that they want to have. What do you guys see on tape as you studied them so far?
Man, and the first comment is you cut on the back shot. First you watch them versus Alabama. And they played good for a while, and so they're still talented. They're still very talented, and they got a lot of D linemen that they roll in there. The linebackers are big. They got a couple of experienced guys in the secondary. Still young at some spots. That's what you're seeing more so than anything is some of the youth is just starting to show up as you get later in the season. But we know that it's been close in the past versus these guys. They're coming in with the desire to win, and we're going to get their best effort. And they're very capable. You know, they got some really good looking bodies on that defensive line that flash at times, and you know they put it all together. They're going to be scary.
Tony, you said that you're learning more about Trevor, what he's comfortable with, as this has moved along. Since he's been a starter, what's the most important thing that you think the staff has learned about him in game that he can do that maybe you didn't really know?
That one is going to go on to the next play, and then just he sees it. You know, he sees it. A lot of times with a young guy, you want to kind of manage it for him and say, okay, well, we want you to go over here with the ball. We do have, you know, some other places to go, but you focus over here. But, man, he sees the whole field. Like a lot of people don't realize on the touchdown throw to Amari, when he threw it over the top, that wasn't his first read. He was going to the inside receiver, but he saw the depth of the safety. He saw the leverage of the safety, and he came right off of it, and he went to his next read, and it resulted in a big play. So you're just starting to see that he sees the whole field, and he's becoming a lot more comfortable with protecting himself. And I think that took Deshaun about a year to really get locked in on that. But he's jumped in with both feet, and you saw that he's changing some protections and moving the back around and doing some different things, and that just goes to show that he's comfortable in the plan.
You ran a wheel route to Easter, was underthrown a little bit, but we haven't seen a wheel.
He's got to catch that.
This season. Is that something we might see more of?
You know, and as we go, just trying to figure out how to get guys involved in the game in different ways, trying to play to their strengths, and you know that's something that Taven's done, you know, well in the past, and haven't had quite as many opportunities, but definitely when and I said it after the game, that was a play that when we wanted to call that, I wanted to give that to him to let him go do that. He's got to make that play. And he was disappointed in himself, and obviously Trevor could have threw it out a little bit farther, but still he gave him a catchable ball, and so as we go each week, as we get into the championship stretch, we got to find ways to create matchups, and so hopefully, you know, as we go down the stretch, the backs will be more involved in the passing game.
The scoring defense for Clemson is #1 or tied for #1 in the nation right now. So what is it about Brent that it seems like every year he's got those guys right near the top?
Man, Brent is as intense a guy as I've ever been around. I mean, he does everything with unbelievable intensity, and I like to pride myself and say I'm a very intense guy, but I mean he's on that edge every minute of the day, and his brain is constantly working, and he's got an unbelievable way of just knowing what they're going to do and figure out a way to stop it, and he really challenges those guys, and I think that's what, you know, breeds that focus and intensity those guys on defense. And then you got a group of unbelievable leaders on that defensive line where you want to have your leadership is in the trenches, and so he's got a great group of D linemen to lead the way that matches intensity, and then we come out here and practice every single day, and you know, offensively that's where the credit goes is out here and practice every single day. From a coaching perspective, from a player perspective, we're challenged every single day, and so that intensity helps us to get better as well.
How impressive and how hard is it to be that consistent every single year?
It's very hard because you're dealing with young people. And obviously they got a lot of things going on, and then obviously, you know, we're human beings as well, and so there's a world going on outside of our building, and a lot of times the things that they're focusing on are contradictory to what we're focusing on. So just being able to focus on the day, and I think it's what Coach Sweeney preaches every single day, that, you know what, yes, we had a historic victory down on Saturday, but that was Saturday, and those touchdowns don't carry over. So we got to focus on mental Monday. This has to be the best Monday of the year, and we can't be looking towards next week. We got the Louisville Cardinals coming in here, and you know what? They want to win, you know, and nothing's more important to them than to come in here and play their best and have an opportunity to beat us, and they're capable of doing it. So I think it's just a testament to the mindset of the program, that every game is the most important game, every game is a championship game, and every single day you got to have a focus, and you got to be 100% committed to the focus, or else you won't get the results that you want.
With the staff's approach to playing so many guys, where the 50th guy on the roster might get in the first quarter, or the 72nd guy might play all the whole fourth quarter, what does that mean to the overall morale, spirit, and intensity of the team throughout the week and even game day?
You know, I think it just, for the players, when they walk through this door tonight to get ready to practice, they're going to have a spring in their step. And not just that, the scout team is going to be rewarded as well. They're praised for their efforts, because they have a critical role in getting us ready to play. So it's not just the 72 that make the trip, and Coach makes sure that they all understand that it's a privilege, not a right. Right, to be part of the 72. It's a privilege, not a right, to play, and you earn your privilege to play by the way that you practice and you perform. And then I think it just increases the intensity when you come out to practice, because those guys know that if we take care of our business, if we practice the right way, if we do the things we're supposed to, we're going to be rewarded. Now, not everyone's going to get equal reps, and we do a great job of telling guys, hey, you might not be a 50% guy, but right now you're a 20% guy, and if you do what you're supposed to do in practice, then we're going to do everything we can to get you those 20% reps in the game.
Mental Monday aside, you've had so many battles with Florida State going back to your playing days. Was there a moment on Saturday where you just soaked in the fact that you went down there and scored the most points ever in Bill Campbell?
You know, when you get in the locker room and you just see the smiles, you know, on the face of the guys, just knowing that they've been rewarded for their work. I try not to be a big stat guy, but I've been on the other end, and I know how that feels. So just really happy for our guys to see the joy and the excitement that they have, and I think that the magnitude of the game and the win will sink in, you know, years to come. But right now, it's, hey, that was the objective, and the objective was not necessarily to score the most points, but we knew we wanted to go in, get better in these areas, you know, be productive on offense, you know, improve in certain areas, still got room to improve, and then if we could have an opportunity to reward a couple guys, and we accomplished that, and that was Saturday, and now we're on to Louisville.
Going back to Trevor for a second, after that targeting call, it looked like your whole bench was ready to go defend him. Just what does that say about the respect that he's commanded from these guys?
No question. I mean, the quarterback is the leader, especially of our offense, and for the most part, you know, the face of your team outside of Coach Sweeney. So everybody knows how important he is, and they respect that. They know, one, the character that he has, that he's not going to be a guy out there that's talking trash. He's going to let his play do the talking. And so when guys take advantage of that, it was good to see our offensive line. I think John Simpson was the first one to run over. Everybody's jumping up because, you know, they appreciate who he is. They know that he doesn't play the game like that, and they respect his work, and so they want to defend him. And then also, too, offensively, the first thing we talk about when we before we get on the bus on Saturdays to go to the game is protect the quarterback at all costs, at every position. Protect the quarterback. You know, that's the guy that we got to take care of.
Looked like Trevor was ready to defend himself too, though.
Well, he's not going to back down. You know, he's not gonna start it, but you know, he's not going to back down either. And that's part of his moxie. That's part of his toughness, and I think that's part of the confidence that he has to be able to make the throws. You know, that he has and attempt the throws that he attempts to make, because he just has that confidence. He has that fire, but he's able to control his emotions throughout the course of the game. But he's still a competitor.
Tony, over the course of the season as a play caller, you've had a quarterback change between Kelly and now Trevor, and now Trevor settled into the position. Have you gotten in rhythm yourself as a play caller with all those changes going through the season? How are you feeling so far?
You know, I think every game is different. You know, I think you got to try and find your rhythm every single game. And if you notice, each of the last couple of games, it's been a little bit different. You know, obviously we wanted to come in and establish the run, didn't quite establish it as quickly as we wanted to, so we had to go get the game under control, so to speak, and kind of find a rhythm. And so we've had to find a rhythm throwing the ball. And up at Wake Forest, we came out trying to throw the ball to kind of get the quarterback settled in, and next thing you know, we stick with the run game. So I think each game is different. I just got to make sure that I don't let myself get in the way. We don't let any of the coaches on the offensive staff get in the way, that we strictly focus on, okay, this is our plan, this is what we feel like is going to work, now let the players go play, and then we try to help them the best we can by whatever we see being successful, we continue to try to go with that, and then make whatever adjustments we need to make.
The last one here. Anybody? All right. Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right.